What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the second album by American rapper Lil Baby. Based this product is called My Turn, and it came out in the winter of 2020. So fair about this particular album here, this is kind of a spearhead of an album within these pitches as far as talking about the flair that particular rap music and just overall like the world in general is getting to around this time in 2020. This came out right on the cusp as like the COVID pandemic was starting to happen, pitches like that. There were some tumultuous type things that are going on here in terms of like the new school type vibes, in terms of like the face of what was going to happen with like the next era of rap music. A couple big names had particularly died, both Juice WRLD and Pop Smoke had passed on right around this time. Pop Smoke particularly in the month of this album came out in February 2020, so it's kind of pitch that was kind of sabotaging things and leftover type vibes. There's some meshings between like the pandemic kind of screwing with things. The world didn't know what to do. It was just kind of pitching this question what the fair of what rap music was going to kind of get to with trap kind of within those fairs. So it's a brand new decade on top of that, talking about 2020, how the 2010s concluded, pitch like that. So it was kind of within the fair of just paying attention to like a trifecta of folks within those aspects that were deemed like, at least around that particular time, the big three, particularly at least in like the early few years, at least in like the early few years, the pandemic pitches like that. One of the trifectas, like the big three, was Lil Baby, Da Baby, and Roddy Ricch. As far as this was going to happen, they had that particular dominance for at least late 2019, 2020, 2021, maybe a little bit of 2022. But it's kind of the pitch. Eventually, for a solid while, it became Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole. But it's kind of the pitch as far as talking about within the fairs. It was kind of Da Baby, Lil Baby, Roddy Ricch for a while. Around this time, Roddy Ricch's The Box was just pretty aptly predominant. Pitches like that was a good biting kind of staple around that particular time. So it's just the pitch as far as these fairs. Instagram was popping off pretty largely, pitches like that. So it's kind of the fair, just questioning who was going to take the helm, and particularly it was Lil Baby that did it for a good while. Now this album made a lot more splash and damage than I particularly remember around that time. Around these times in 2020, I was paying attention to more folks like Deuce and Cut Calhoun and folks like that, particular fairs, King Gordy and folks like that. So I wasn't as full-bound paying attention to trap. I did review in February 2020 like some Future mixtapes, at least. I think I was reviewing like the Monster mixtape by Future, pitches like that, either February or March of 2020, some of those affairs. But probably nowadays I would give that album, I think easily that would get a classic score as well within those pitches. I think I gave it like a 6 back in those days. But it's this kind of pitch as far as saying the product of it here was not as complex touch and base with trap, but it was pretty predominant within these fairs. This album went 4 times platinum by the time you got to 2022, which is interesting type pitches because it's not as complex that really albums with thinking of particular albums within those pairs, apart from maybe Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City, and I think if it's not Kendrick, even Eminem is not going multi-platinum within these days, pitches like that. So I can't think of terribly many folks that reach like 3 or 4 times platinum within these pitches. Actually, this album is a larger deal than the acclaim of what it particularly got. Like Lil Baby has enough hate within some of his appeals, but he does have just as much kind of like appeal and overall acclaim within these pitches, especially in the casual type fair. This is something he was every day for a good consistent while in way back in the early pandemic days, early 2020, good portion 2021 and 2022 pitch like that. It was kind of fair as far as saying, but it's just the aspect of paying attention to some of this. This was just everyday type fair, just the night list and some of those type factors of like the quarantine type vibes and pitches like that. It's just good staples, a number of hits. And I didn't realize that these particular songs were not just Instagram staples, but actually they were pretty solid. These may not have been having gotten to like rhythmic kind of radio type aspects, like when you think of Juice WRLD and The Weeknd and like Drake and folks like that within those pitches, Big Sean, bears like that. But it's kind of the aspect as far as saying a lot of these were kind of similar to like what Future was doing. He was basically like Future, but just maybe 6 or 8 years younger, pitch like that. Just kind of fair getting like a predominant kind of trap album within the pitch is something like Pluto. This was kind of, I think when we reflect on like the 2020s decade, getting to the next few years, getting to 2030, this is going to be seen as one of those type ones that was kind of like a signature kind of foothold pitch like that, just a seminal type one. And I definitely agree. It's going to get a 10 out of 10, just being able to say it had 3 singles. Now eventually I'm going to review the deluxe edition, not currently, but it's kind of pitch. And just to say on top of that, I have another, like I've reviewed Lil Baby's Harder Than Hard 2018 album. That's going to surface way later within these pitches, probably deeper into 2026. Can't project when. But I reviewed that back in the summer of 2025, so that's eventually going to happen. But I've covered quite a few Lil Baby products. Some of these are going to start to surface. So it's just the appeal as far as saying this being able to say a seminal type album out of 2020's pitches like that, just looking 6 years later within these aspects within that particular tone. So good flair. It's a deluxe editions. I will re-up with this album. just to say on top of that, there is a lot of kind of murky, being a fan of like the particular Dat Piff and this leftover kind of Taco Bell, Chipotle type runs, type styles, pitch like that, amidst like the night shift kind of fray. This has plenty of those particular on here. It's just kind of pitch of just saying that's the shit that's going to be fucked with within these particular fairs, throwing things into the 2020s, just saying, yep, it's going to be adaptations and expansions upon that particular fair as far as those pitches. Not to say like that, but it's the pitch as far as talking about Lil Baby being one of the initial type ones, laying down like the template and the foundation for what Trap was going to advance into in 2020. Because it's kind of the pitch as far as saying is the fair as Trap got past like 2000s type fashions with folks like Future and like Yo Gotti and Meek Mill, some type folks, and Rick Ross was kind of the fair as far as paying attention to how that was going to happen in 2020. Lil Baby was one of those type ones. The Baby kind of was as well. But it's this kind of pitch as far as saying just paying attention to good type flares here. So this pitch like that, plenty of night shift type phrases, the aspect of this Taco Bell type runs, aspect of this grocery store runs as well. This pretty neighborhood within the aspect is basically like getting a Dat Piff mixtape just in 2020's glam and fashion. So it's kind of the pitch. Not a super ton of dance club type songs in here. It's not as much within the aspect. I don't know if it was just because of the pandemic type flair, but it's kind of the pitch as far as saying this is real. This is more neighborhood bound and kind of just more amidst like the night shift kind of fog and fray, more so than like the conduct of consistent kind of clinking cups and bubblies and mingle as far as this pitch can happen. There are some songs for beats down here, but it's not a super ton of pop that real ferocious. This kind of aspect, this kind of appreciate like the block and like appreciate like the block in the residential type fair, the gas station, so stuff. But it's good, excellent pitches. There's only three singles on like the standard edition. There are actually 5 singles out this album, good pitches like that, but 2 of them are reserved for the deluxe, so good fares like that. But within these pitches, I do recommend all 20 of the 20 songs that are on the standard edition, so I'm going to get to those within these pitches. But yeah, 10 out of 10 album. So Whoa is a hit type 1, this lead single. All of these were all 3 of the singles off the album were top 35 singles on here, 2 of which were top 15, top 16, top 20 singles. So it's kind of pitch as far as saying. So yeah, the first 2, Whoa and Some to Prove, were both top 16 singles. So it's excellent type pitch. This album's a pretty large deal. Now it didn't get to like the rhythmic kind of humongous kind of Zaz factor, but it's definitely pretty excellent within those fairs. Just Glam Factor being one of the larger scale kind of 2020s trap albums I can think of in a casual sense. So definitely nailed the appeal. He was the shit back in 2020, still is now, but this kind of pitches saying it's that Glam Factor. So what was like an excellent kind of 2020s trap spearhead to get here, to signature kind of pandemic flair, I'd say about this. The same shit, different day, just kind of a bop to get. So it's just the product. Paying attention to some of those Taco Bell type runs, just the pitch, of just like the aspect of Dat Piff type flair. Plenty of these type folks all over Dat Piff within these pitches, leftover type varieties, just saying, yep, this is like So it's just kind of in the night fog and wind as far as these fairs go. Excellent type pitches is with y'all and your pals, pitches like that. It's kind of aspects of some of those type fairs, just hitting up like a Food for Less, hitting up a Walmart, some of those type products back in those particular fairs where the late shift would kind of be more block. The late shift would be more ravenous pitch like that, but it's easy kind of fair, just having not much more than a few grape sweets and like a couple tall bottles of like McCormick vodka. Not like it has to be that cheap, but just the pitch is something good within those aspects. Just the fair to just pull it, just some set aside and like the particular after effect to like the tone behind it. So good type pitch for some of those type ones, good consistent type banger. Definitely gonna need to fuck with getting to purchase this sound good pitch like that, but excellent type pair. So Some to Prove, second single. This is a good whopping 1-2 punch with like the hit appeal of this album. It's like a nice murky kind of time waste to get in like a throwback kind of Dat Piff format here. I definitely say a couple quesadillas with pals pitch like that, just some catch up to kind of get to. So this is kind of the fair for folks that are kind of within the same aptness and just the variety of just fucking with some of these type fairs, having the aspect of being able to talk about like, hey, did you fuck with that new Kendrick tape? Did you fuck with that new J-Rock tape? Some of these type fairs, you fuck with that new Tay-Don tape, some of these type fairs pitch like that. Waka Flocka, some of these type pitch, just missed the variety of some of these type fairs. Did you see that DJ Khaled hosted this particular mixtape? Some of those type varieties within that sort of aspect of this. Getting back to that Dat Piff kind of mentality, just post up good fairs like that. But it's kind of the product, just simple kind of simping pitch like that. Just miss like the night fog and fairs like that. It's definitely a demon time type flair. Just kind of missed the pitch of couple flash drives with some hit products on there, like, yeah, you need to check this out, fuck with the quesadilla or 2 or 3 pitches like that, go sit in like a outdoor kind of table at Taco Bell, pitches like that, some stuff there, just smoke a grape sweet, something like that, some of these type of ordeals, some pitches, just good varieties within the legality of it, good pitch like that. So dismiss the fair. Then Emotionally Scarred was the third single, good excellent pitches like that. It's like a solid kind of aghast and grim kind of pastime to get here, just smoke a bowl. Definitely I'd say just grocery store runs, kind of a free day to kind of have. So just to miss the pit. Good 1-2-3 punch kind of combo. This just to miss the fair, just good excellent free days. This particular one is kind of desolate, like Stick Talk by Future off of Dirty Sprite 2, good pitch like that. So it's amidst the fair as far as talking about some of those type varieties within the biting type pitch about it, just good type aspect for some of that type tone about it. Extracurricular type fair. So just kind of miss the pitch, probably throw in like a utility run in there, something like that, just kind of keep the snap of it going just within those pitches, but definitely variety, just good, kind of pleasant type, out in the phrase pitches like that, dismiss the ordeal kind of behind it. So it's good, excellent, ghoulish type flavor. So yeah, there's a good assortment of guests on here, pitches like that. Young Thug's on here, Lil Wayne's on here, Lil Uzi Vert's on here, Future's on here, 42 Doug, Gunna on here. They need to get back to collaborating, pitch like that. Rilo Rodriguez, some of these type folks, good excellent pitches like that. So it's just the aspects for us saying paying attention to some of these type pairs. So it's good type banging type one. It's the trap ensemble, excellent type pitches will like the furiousness. There's plenty of these thin pitches like that. It's a real nice one on here in terms of like a more makeshift type sense. It's solid. It's like a good glissy and throwback to early 2010s, kind of real talk and sober grab to get within these pitches. Just everyday. It has like an everyday type fit about it. Just some trap music to kind of get within these verses. Just one of those type ones, something that you'd listen to more vehicle bound. Certain tunes were kind of getting towards this. Now, this album's not filled within these formats. This is kind of one of these type albums that kind of got Lil Baby into like the everyday type appeal. It's kind of the aspect that the more flair about it was this particular album caught some casual type flair doing it with this like the standard trap rumbles pitch like that. But there are some moments, not as humongous kind of album. There's a couple of these like solid and like Catch the Sun, some of these type ones that do have the aspect of like rock star type vibes and just more pitches of more kind of rhythmic type radio pitches like that. Some of those type factors, like when you think of a song like Mirror by Lil Wayne off like the Carter 4 pitch, just like that, just kind of miss those ordeals, like a gripping type one, just the aspect of getting towards those particular tones of this kind of trap music to listen to within the aspect of this kind of not so much full bound kind of like snap to like blue collar type grind, but this kind of aspect, just like the fair, just like the put in like the elbow grease type tab pitch like that. So it's kind of within the fair. There's a good solid handful like some hustle. There's a solid enough kind of handful like some hustle type snap on here. It's not quite as ferocious as like Lil Baby was on like the mixtapes from like the mid-late 2010s, but it's good accent pitches, just the variety. So there's just good context about some of these type ones that have some of that type variety on here for like a commercial type grab within pitch of just making trap kind of another throw in to kind of have like trap kind of having more within like the aspect of they're throwing to kind of have trap within the aspect of like everyday and music type fair, good pitches like that. So good excellent varieties. Gang Signs is a hit type one that's produced by 36 Mafia. Good excellent pitches about this. Or at least DJ Paul, good bangingness here. Is like a rock solid kind of haunting tear up to get. This goes great with How as far as he's pitching How, which is one of the few nightclub songs on here. I'm going to get to that one. It's like in a gas kind of house party and kind of street curb type fun pitch like that. So it's just missed the ordeals. Just good type fair, pass the quesadillas pitch like that. Just kind of roaches on the ground pitch like that. Not to have with an aspect of throwing trash around, but just the pitch as far as the staying within product, just getting towards the aspect. Some of the type fairs within the pitch. Just good excellent varieties. Just good pitches like that. Just red cups, standard fairs like that. Just kind of pop off like some good excellent noise. Good excellent kind of house party gallivant pitches like that. Divas showing up, caked up, looking nice. Good pitches like that. Dismiss the fair. Some of that rock solid typeness. Just night glam pitches like that. Some of this type fairs, good pitches about it. Now, go ahead and talk about How now. Speaking of How, this is a real hit type one. It's like an excellent kind of nightclub bounce to get here. Just furious kind of 808 and parking lot slam. I'd say about this. Just some IG snaz going to get. This Instagram snaz, a real post up look, real dope and nice pitch like that. Just kind of automatic snarl. It's kind of the pitch. It's just the variety. Now, Lil Baby usually has plenty of these. It's actually pretty surprising that there's not some degree of like a snap within these products, that Lil Baby was not aiming for like the more strip club and kind of more ferocity within those aspects as far as those pitch can happen. Throw in like a few songs like Same Damn Time and Jumpman by Future and Drake within those products on here, pitch like that. Some type ones, other type varieties like particular like Radical by Future, plenty of these type ones, some of these type pitches. Mask Off, I think it's been a little bit since I listened to that song, but particular ones like that, just amongst those pitches as far as talking about like particular kind of Future type variety. Big Rings by Future, some of those type glam type factors, kind of pitch. But then within the variety, I think the more I think about it, like when I fuck with like Lil Baby's 2017 mixtapes, like the one he did with Marlo, To the Hard Way, and then the DJ Drama one, some type pitch, he didn't kind of have like a ton of those particular tear up type ones. So it's kind of pitch, but just that's more consistent type. The ones that you'd see in like a real snappy quick type fair with like Instagram stories pitch like this, some of that glitz type factor. Heating Up with Gunna is a real quality type one as well. It's like a good early 2010s kind of opera rave trap turn up to get here. This one has some degree of ferocity, but it's composed about it. Just kind of elegant kind of mess hall type noise. It's like some elegant kind of mess hall type noise pitch like that. Just has some swoosh factor about it. So just kind of pitch it. Just real sleek as fuck. Just the aspect of coming through. Kind of more kempt and elegant type places. Just like a more kempt and elegant type places. Just coming through just with like the night snarl about it. Good pitch like that. So just the aspect of just kind of those particular pairs is probably being in more blazers or just more tuxedo type pair. Just good accent kind of refinery pitch like that. Just missed the fair. Just looking prim and consistent, but just within the trap variety, good pitch like that. Section type pairs about it. Grace with 42 Doug is a hit type ones, like a grand vintage kind of 2010s trap and demon time scouring to get here within these products. Just like some chipotle and spread out kind of rumps to get here. So just more within variety, just more the aspect now. If Taco Bell's getting a little bit boring, pairs like that, just kind of missed aspect of wanting some secondary and other type places to kind of have within some that pairs going to some other type restaurants, pitch like that, pick up like some Popeyes, pairs like that, kind of some lit type factor within these pitches, but just kind of missed the aspect of this neighborhood type crawls and pitches like that, some stuff ordeals. The products pick up like a case of lupa, some pairs like that, good pitches like that, going back to Taco Bell, but just some of those type pairs about it. Catch the Sun is a hit type appeal. It's like a good sun pier and dredgy kind of bake a few zags, I'd say here, pitch like that. Just some summer side kind of bay, pull aside, I'd definitely say. Good for like the airplay pitch like that. So it's kind of like the rock star type variety that would surface like a few months later and like as the pandemic started to happen more. Catch the Sun just feels like something Fabulous would kind of do off some of his summer side kind of pull aside type anthems, just more in like a trap type format, more grafted like 2020s. There's just good pitch like that. It's kind of with that dark type fit that Lil Baby kind of typically has in like some of his late 2010s mixtapes, fairs like that. So it's just good type pitch, just a glare type factor. Kind of feels more like 6:30, 7:30 p.m. kind of slag pitch like that, but just kind of a good relative kind of sun side type aspect when tones like that. It's kind of the factor, just kind of sunlight with the more darkness dip kind of trap flare about it. It's a good pitch like that, but it's kind of variety. Hurtin' is a quality one as well within these aspects, like amidst like the night fog and embrace kind of get here just everyday kind of dap piff fun, I'd say. Some good nice tune to grab like hot pockets, good pitch like that. Map a drop or so nice type pitch. So just kind of missed the fair, just like the everyday type curriculums pitch like that. Plenty of these type ones, I like the regular on dap piff pitch like that. It's just kind of the fair desk. Other type varieties. So it's kind of the pitch with some of these type on here. It's kind of the pitch as far as saying just the variety. Having some stuff in mind within product, just whether it is picking up flash drives or pitch like that, just kind of missed the fair, just neighborhood type comedy and pitch like that, hit up pals, some of these type aspects in the tone, just like the particular food for less and go get torched in the woods type fair pitch like that with the good bag of like barbecue lays and a few barbecue lays and a couple sour cream and onion Pringles pitch like that, some type ordeals, and obviously like a couple hand bottles of Bacardi pitch like that within those ordeals pitch like that. We Should is a hit type one that says Young Thug on here, excellent type pitches, like a half stone. This tune is like a half stone kind of neighborhood flame and block time waste kind of get here, just pick up some zags. It's kind of a merry kind of favorite run. So this kind of pitch, diva in mind, just within the pitch, just like the product, just getting some shit done with flames in mind, pitch like that. It's kind of missed the ordeal, just kind of with that particular product, just extracurricular. It's kind of the pitch as far as there's more focus within these particular fairs, just to miss the aspect of just like fleshing out. There's some good flares of focus about this particular album of like just the aspect of like the Galvant throughout the. There's some good focus amongst the flares about this album of just like out in the fray pitch like that, miss these fairs, just like utility runs and steadfast kind of snap pitch like that, but also during like the day fair throwing in some of these type ones and miss having like flames in mind pitches like that, picking up some of those type fairs, just miss those pitches, picking up like a Spotify gift card or fairs like that, some of that pitches within the aspects as far as these pitches kind of happen, dismiss the fray of like some of these particular type tones kind of have within the pitch as far as just talking about the varieties as far as these fairs going to happen. A couple Cinnabons as well, just pitch like that, just some of these type fairs kind of keep the taste of it, pitches like that. Can't Explain is a hit type one, good type flares about this, like a solid kind of vehicle, extra thought. Can't Explain is like a solid kind of vehicle, extra thought to get here and gliss along as far as these fairs can happen. Just erranding, I definitely say, just stead kind of hustle here, just very fast, and so this kind of pitch. Some of these type ones, not a ton of real stunt and flex type factor about this album within these pitches, but just kind of variety as far as saying, just kind of post up, good fairs like that. It's kind of variety is just like some of these type ones, it's the Tibble type banner typeness that feature Travis Scott, Yo Gotti kind of have, but just the factor behind it is just kind of on autopilot as far as those fairs. I'm not quite as fierce within like the aspect, but just some of those type ones to this. Yep, feel like going for a drive some of these type fairs, just get some shit accomplished, some of these type fairs within it. So this is a good, nice, kind of meeker, kind of glam type factor about like the stump pizzazz, good pitches like that, missed those phrases. So pitches like that, as far as those phrases can happen. Particularly Forever is a hit type one that says Lil Wayne on here, good pitches like that. Forever is like a particular kind of grand demon time embrace to get here, just ripped out of like the 2010s, pitch like that, just grab like excellent type one to grab quesaritos too from Taco Bell. Some of those type pitches definitely. Some of those type pairs, I'd say, just Diablo sauce along with it, just make it real spicy, good pitch like that, just mouth-watering pitch like that, just wide awake within these pairs, so just kind of miss the pitch of some of those type varieties. Typical Fury, just miss that fray, just like the trap biting pitch like that, just throwback type tunes, good to get Lil Wayne on some of these type pairs. He was quite, this was a miss when Lil Wayne had just dropped the funeral pitch like that, which actually I need to get to that particular album with some of these type pitches within it. Good type phrase about it. No suckers to hit type one that says Moneybag Yo on here. Pitches like that. It's like a good trap and backyard kind of mess hall sprees to get here. Have your pals along, good pitches like that. Just kind of smoke up hard, I would say. Definitely get kind of trippy with some of these type aspects. One of the more type ones to really have the tear up really going. Now within the factor, this album has plenty of good smoke type products on here, but it's kind of pitch as far as saying within the aspect, actually one where you might have to sit down and spell some of these type pitches with an aspect. Just really noticing like the smoke factor is one of these type ones. Just have some slamming memes, I definitely say. Past like the barbecue lays, barbecue chips, pitch like that, some stuff where deals dismissed aspects, some of these type fairs, the sour cream and onion chips, definitely some of these type varieties just really maybe definitely gain a few pounds from like the tear up, but just the fun factor being that high. Commercials, Tibble type 1 within the excellence of a good pitch like that. This has Lil Uzi Vert on here, some of these good. Another excellent one off this album would be Commercial with Lil Uzi Vert, excellent pitches like that. It's like a Dracula and demonized kind of good trap gallivant to get here, just syrupy kind of commerce, I'd say. Syrupy kind of commerce, I'd say, pitches like that. It's kind of like Future, but a little bit murkier within those pitches. Takes it back to like late 2010s, kind of Lil Baby mixtape type vibes. So commercials just kind of missed the aspect. This Future on one of his more murky type vibes, just the aspect of when he kind of be in a more gulag type mode, pitch like that is kind of fuck that shit. Some of those type vibes, and then pitch it is kind of fuck that shit, ready to ride tonight. Some of those type fairs just getting towards some of those type ones. Trying to think of a particular type one that reminds me of within those pitches, kind of variety of like probably more Future off of like probably more Future on the Where You. More like songs by Future off of Where You At, but just a little bit more within like a kind of brooding type sense. But excellent type pitches is some of that particular type Fury. Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Baby have excellent type fairs about this song, good pitch like that. Forget That's kind of in combination with that one. It's like a glaring kind of night venue bounce to get here. Just some socialized and smoke fest, I'd say, pitch like that. Divas kind of dropped that sentence type fairs. This red cupping, definitely I'd say here. So this has a little bit more social jazz factor about it within these pitches for us, like the product about hit songs like Forget That have a little bit more social slam type factor within pitches like that. Just the aspect like the real bite type tone within pitch. Just some of those type fairs, just commotion kind of getting towards pitches like that to show up with. Bust out like the Grey Goose. Some of these type fairs, good pitches like that amidst these phrase. Bacardi Dark. Some of these type pitches really get towards the crunk type factor. Kind of miss the pitch of this. It's been a long hustle week. Some of these type fairs getting towards like the variety, like some tear up going pitches like that. So it's kind of within the variety kind of about it. Cooling type vibes, just one pitch are really getting crunk, some of these type fairs. Trying to think of other type songs I haven't talked about. I don't think I've talked about Live Off My Closet. This has Future on here, good pitch like that. Live Off My Closet is like a twinkled and glissy, kind of homebound gussy up to kind of get here, pitch like that. Get crunk, I'd say, definitely just gigging a few, I'd say, within these pitches. It's kind of the product of getting to songs like Forget That, and particular How, and some of these type ones, and gang songs. Particular hit songs like Forget That, How, and Gang Signs, some of those type pitches within it. This kind of aspect, just chirp a few folks, pitch like that, figure out. Chirp a few folks, pitch like that, get towards the product of getting it to go down within these pitches for these fairs can have. So just kind of conduit type moments, gussy up within these products, get ready for like the gig type fair, just when the pitch for us like the product kind of happens, is getting towards like the slam type factor, just an exhilarating type song within these pitches for us like the product of getting ready for some spices as far as these pitch comes. So just excellent within the pitch, just kind of the product about it. Make like a light dinner or something like that, kind of within those products. Good plate of ramen, some type pitches within aspects as far as those tones going to happen. Good, excellent pitches about it. Try to think of other type of songs I haven't talked about in here. Within these pitches, I think that more or less covers it within the products as far as these pitches kind of go. Actually, I think one of the last ones I haven't talked about on here is Same Thing. So Same Thing particularly has... Same Thing doesn't have anyone on there. Same Thing's like a typical kind of day frolic to get, just to strut along, I'd say here, just snack run kind of tune, pitch like that. Favors in Mind for Bells in Mind, pitch like that. Since that fairs just missed the pitch of this. Kind of a plucky type song, just typical kind of day pluck as far as these fairs can have. So just kind of missed the pitch. Kind of like a song like Catch the Slung, but this actually a more sunshiny type one. This is one that doesn't have like the usual type murkiness. Not to say it's out of character for Lil Baby, but it is kind of like a more left field type one within pitch for those formats kind of go with it. This good ass day within the pitches of this the fair, just kind of a good pep about yours. This good ass day within these pitches, this good pep about your system, pitch like that, just kind of with an aspect of some block appreciation, just fares like that, haul at some folks, good pitch like that, miss some stuff fares, just kind of the product of this standard neighborhood dap, and just the pitch of having more than 3 or 7 minute combos, pitches like that amongst some subboard deals, but just kind of pitch some of those stuff fares, just kind of like a 2020s type song of like a same thing would kind of be like a 2020s trap type song, like a throwback to Jeezy's 2005 hit song My Hood, as far as those first happen. So just some of that neighborhood kind of peppy, kind of gallivant with them pitch like that. Pick up some Fritos, pitch like that, chili cheese Fritos, some of those stuff aspects. It's good type favorite run things and stuff in mind for Flames, pitch like that. Pick up like Spotify gift card or two, some of that pitch, some aspect, good fares about that. DVD, some of that fares, some of those type aspects with that. Trying to think of other type ones. I think that particularly kind of takes care of it more or less. There might be one other type one within these pitches, which might be Get Ugly, but I think apart from that, it basically takes care of it. So Get Ugly, it's like a dope shrouded combo with Whoa, I'd have to say here. I'm not sure if I talk about this one. It's like an excellent typical, this particular song is like an excellent kind of typical night flourish to get here. Just have grape sweets around pitch like that. Just have some gab going. So this kind of the standard DAP and combos going on with more of like amidst the night shift. This typical kind of DAP piff product on like the pretty consistent regular pitch like that. Just excellent type fares within those aspects of just getting like that particular format. Just more an album type sheens. Good pitch as far as those first gonna happen. So I look after here. I think that more or less takes care of it within these products here. So that's the blisteriness about this album. So 10 out of 10 album pitch like that. Social Score's going to go ahead and get a 10 out of 10. Now within the appeals, the only thing this album really full bound lacked was just like a particular breakthrough type song within the pitch. Is something like Rockstar by Lil Baby. Lil Baby kind of had a mildly more apt type aspect within like targeting like more contemporary kind of rhythmic type radio. But this really, in terms of trap type appeal, this is about as commercial as like the first particularly kind of got. This actually, in certain senses, this is on par with Future with some of his best type days. Now, Future obviously has mammoth amounts of hits and discography hits, pitches like that. But it's kind of fair. This particular did it just like that. It was just kind of just within the aspect. It's just as far as saying that the product that Lil Baby just on his second album got to like these particular ones. He definitely spearheaded the 2020s and the pandemic kind of in one fell swoop within these pitches. Got to the top real quickly. This was a face of rap, and at least in terms of like the more kind of actual rap, just as like a genre, not paying attention, more pop rap and things like that. And so in terms of standard rap, Lil Baby was definitely the dominant one around these particular times, just with these hits, just a 1, 2, 3 type punch. All these singles did real excellently on here. He got the 5 singles with the deluxe edition. Those were a big deal as well, one of which was like a top 5 or so single. Those kind of pitches. This album was a big deal, pitch like that kind of aspect. He was in the big 3 for a good while, pitches like that. The glam factor was real high. So just on top of that, Silly Stuff One's plenty of good DAP piff kind of runs amidst like Taco Bell and Chipotle, Silly Stuff Fair, smoking with your pals, hella grape sweets, hella backyard and kind of mess hall type noise. Hella backyard and parkside and mess hall type noise pitches like that for your pals, as far as those pitches can have them past the barbecue lays, past the quesadillas, get some of those, the quesadillas going, some of those type pitches when the aspect, as far as those pitches can have them, some grocery store runs, just miss the night fog, just pitch like that, some flash drive and kind of mixtape gossips, some of those type pitches within the tone, just a few vehicle glam type factors and errand runs, some of those type pitches, and some favorite runs for like the divas within the pitch, amidst like mild and kind of more uncommon kind of nightclubbing fares pitch like that. So it's not on here and like the fray, but just appreciating like the environment and like the scenery in the neighborhood. So the fares dismiss the product is kind of putting on for the town folk and pitch like that, dismiss the comedy and fares like that. So excellent type pitch is 10 social. In terms of Future, Lil Baby dropped an album as recent as December 2025. I reviewed his early 2025 album, which was Wham amongst those pitches. That came out back in October, so there's going to be way more Lil Baby coming within these pitches, one of which, like I said, I reviewed his 2018 album, Harder Than Hard, that's eventually going to surface later on in 2026, or fares like that. It's coming eventually, pitched like that, but it's going to be some more Lil Baby on top of that. Good excellent fares. This is a classic here, just 2020 staples, spearheaded the pandemic, pitched like that. Effective and achieved kind of big deal, I would say, within these pitches.